Mom, starting tomorrow, these are your new responsibilities in this house. Lila's words echoed in my head as I read the paper she had just handed me. It wasn't a suggestion. It wasn't a request. It was an order. My own daughter in my own home was giving me a work schedule as if I were a newly hired domestic worker. If you don't agree, she continued, her voice cold, a tone she'd perfected over the past few months, you can pack your things and leave. This house needs someone who actually helps, not someone who just takes up space. My hands trembled as I read the list. 6 a.m., wake up and prepare breakfasts. 7, get the kids dressed and take them to school. 8, return the general house cleaning. 9, wash and hang the laundry. 10, prepare lunch. The list continued hour by hour until 11 at night when, according to this document, I should be ironing clothes for the next day. And obviously, Marcus added from the couch without even looking up from his phone. All this includes paying for the house expenses. That's what your pension is for.
No.
I stood there in the middle of my own living room. The same living room where I had welcomed Lila when she was born 33 years ago, where I had celebrated her birthdays, where I had comforted her when she cried over her first heartbreaks. Now that same child looked at me with a coldness that chilled me to the bone. You don't have much time to decide, Mom, she said, painting her nails a bright pink. Marcus has already spoken with the lawyer. Since we've been living here for over 2 years and maintaining the house, we have rights. So, you can be our employee and stay, or you can leave and we'll stay anyway. The threat was clear. In my own house, with the deed in my name, my daughter was blackmailing me. Either I became her personal servant, paying all expenses and working tirelessly, or I'd be kicked out so they could take everything. Think it over, Lila continued, blowing on her freshly painted nails. At your age, where else are you going to find a place to live on a $600 pension? At least here you have a roof and food, and you can see your grandkids every day. Unless, of course, you prefer to live alone in some miserable little room. Marcus let out a cruel laugh. Besides, honey, let's be realistic. What else are you going to do with your life? At least this way you'll feel useful. It's better than watching TV all day like old ladies your age do. My grandchildren were on the floor playing with their tablets, completely oblivious to the conversation that was shattering my world. 7-year-old Noah looked up at me for a moment and asked, Grandma, are you going to make snacks?
I'm hungry.
It was the cruelest normality. To them, I was already the housekeeper, the person who fixes things, cleans, cooks, serves. Not the grandma who loved them. Not the 65-year-old woman who had worked 40 years to buy this house. I was just the free servant who was always available. Look, Mom. Lila stood up and walked towards me, placing a condescending hand on my shoulder. It's not that we don't love you. We love you very much. That's why we're giving you the opportunity to stay. But things have to change. This house needs order, and someone has to be responsible for keeping everything running. And why does that someone have to be me? I managed to whisper, finding my voice for the first time in this nightmarish conversation. Because you're the one who doesn't work, Marcus replied without looking up. We work, we study, we have real responsibilities. You just collect your pension and don't do anything productive. I felt as if I had been slapped. 40 years working as a secretary in a government office. 40 years getting up at 5 in the morning, taking 2 buses to get to work, saving every penny to buy this house. 40 years raising Lila alone after her father abandoned us when she was just 3 years old. Don't do anything productive, I repeated, feeling the words choke me. All these years maintaining this house, paying the bills, buying your food, taking care of your children while you go out, washing your clothes, cleaning up your messes. That's not work, Mom. Lila interrupted me with that condescending smile I had learned to hate. That's what anyone living in a house does. The difference is that now it's going to be organized with fixed schedules, so everything runs smoother. I looked around my living room. The furniture I had bought with so much sacrifice was ruined. The leather sofa, which had taken me 2 years to pay off, had food stains and tears from when the kids jumped on it without anyone correcting them. The wooden coffee table, which had been my pride, was covered in marks from glasses and hot plates that no one bothered to put on coasters. On the walls, my family photos had been replaced by movie posters Marcus liked. My book collection had been relegated to a box in the garage to make space for the video games and electronic gadgets they constantly bought with the money I gave them. Besides, Lila continued, examining her nails with satisfaction. This is going to be good for you. It's going to give you purpose. Lately, you've seemed very depressed, very bored. Having clear responsibilities will help you feel better about yourself. The manipulation was so evident. It physically hurt. She was selling me my own slavery as if it were a favor they were doing me, as if becoming their free servant was a form of therapy for my emotional well-being. And you have to work on weekends, too, Marcus added, finally looking up from his phone. Saturdays are for deep house cleaning and Sundays are for preparing the week's meals. It's not that we're being cruel to you, honey. It's just that we need things to run like a real home. Like a real home, I repeated, feeling anger begin to replace the shock. This isn't a real home. This is the house I bought that I maintained where I welcomed you when you had nowhere to live. Yes, but now we're a family, Lila replied with that twisted logic that left me speechless. And in a family, everyone has their role. Ours is to work and earn income. Yours is to keep the house running. It's fair. Sophia, my 5-year-old granddaughter, approached and tugged at my skirt. Grandma, can I have cookies? The ones on top of the fridge. I looked at her and saw in her eyes the same expectation I had seen in her mother's eyes when she was her age. The expectation that Grandma always says yes, always fixes things, always available. But now that expectation came with an official schedule, an unsigned contract, an implicit threat. In a moment, my love, I told her, caressing her head.
No, Lila interrupted sharply.
Sophia, your grandma is going to follow a new schedule. If you want something, you have to ask her at the right time. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, and according to the schedule, this is her snack prep time anyway. I walked to the kitchen with trembling legs, feeling as if each step led me deeper into an abyss from which I didn't know if I could escape. The schedule remained in my hand, crumpled by the pressure of my fingers. It was like holding my own emotional death sentence. When I opened the pantry, I realized how empty it was. 3 broken cookies at the bottom of a package, an expired can of tuna, and half a bag of rice. In the refrigerator, the situation wasn't much better. 2 yogurts Lila had bought for herself, one of Marcus's beers, and the leftovers from 3-day-old dinner that no one else had wanted to eat. Grandma, there are no cookies. Sophia shouted from the living room with that impatience she had learned from her mother. I'm coming, my love, I replied, knowing perfectly well that I would have to improvise with what little there was, or rather with what little they had left me to have in my own kitchen. I heard Lila's footsteps approaching. Her heels echoed with an authority they hadn't had in this house before. It was as if the simple act of having handed me that paper had transformed her into the official owner of everything. Mom, while you're in the kitchen, I wanted to remind you that you need to go to the supermarket early tomorrow. I made a list of everything we need, she said, sticking a paper on the refrigerator door. It's about $150 worth of groceries. Oh, and you also need to stop by the pharmacy to pick up the kids' vitamins and Marcus's special shampoo. $150, a quarter of my monthly pension for a week's worth of groceries for a family that had decided my money was theirs by right. Lila, my pension doesn't stretch that far every week, I managed to say, though my voice sounded strangely small in my own kitchen. Oh, Mom, always the same, she sighed dramatically. You know, Marcus is saving to buy us our own house. We can't be spending our income on food and basic necessities. Besides, you eat here every day. It's normal for you to contribute to the expenses. The logic was so twisted it made me dizzy. Marcus was saving for his own house while living rent-free in mine. He ate my food and used my services. And I, the real owner of the property, had to pay for the privilege of being their free domestic worker. And what if I don't have enough money? I asked, though I already knew what her answer would be. Then you'll have to adjust and buy the basics first. The children need to eat well. Mom, you can't be selfish with money when there are little ones in the house. Selfish with my own money in my own house. The words stabbed me like a dagger in the chest. Marcus appeared at the kitchen entrance, stretching as if he had just woken from a nap. It was 4:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and he was in his pajamas watching television while I took care of everything else. "Honey, could you prepare something good for dinner?" "It was a tough day at work today," he said, opening the refrigerator and pulling out a beer as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "A tough day?" I couldn't help but ask. "I thought you hadn't left all morning." "I work from home on Tuesdays," he replied with a tone that made it clear I had no right to question his schedule. "Virtual meetings, important calls. It's very stressful. That's why I need to relax when I'm done." I looked at the clock. 4:30 in the afternoon. If he had worked from home, his workday had lasted exactly 3 hours, considering I had seen him sleeping on the couch at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Besides, he continued, taking a long swig of his beer. "Lila and I were talking about some additional rules to make the house run smoother. For example, we need you to respect our downtime. When we're in the living room watching television, it would be better if you didn't interrupt with cleaning or cooking noises." "But the schedule says I have to cook at this time," I replied, holding up the paper still in my hand. "Yes, but without making noise, or you can cook earlier when we're not resting. It's a matter of better organization." The contradiction was absurd. I had to cook at fixed times, but without disturbing their rest periods, which apparently covered most of the day. I had to follow strict rules that changed at their convenience. Lila returned to the kitchen with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. It was that smile she had perfected since adolescence, the one she used when she wanted something or when she was about to say something particularly hurtful, disguised as concern. "Mom, I also wanted to talk to you about your room," she said, leaning against the counter as if she owned the place. "Marcus and I think it would be better if you moved to the small room in the back. We need the master bedroom because it's bigger and we have more things." The master bedroom. My master bedroom. The room where I had slept for 30 years. Where I had cried after my husband's death. Where I had dreamed of watching my grandchildren grow up in a loving environment. Now they wanted to relegate me to the tiny service room, literally. "That room is very small, Lila," I said, feeling my voice crack. "There's barely enough room for a twin bed." "It's perfect for you, Mom. You don't need much space anyway. And that way, we can have a bigger closet for our clothes and the kids' stuff. It's more practical for everyone. More practical for everyone." That was the mantra that justified every humiliation, every loss of dignity, every step towards my conversion into a shadow in my own life. "Besides," Marcus added, "the small room is closer to the kitchen. It'll be easier for you to get up early to prepare breakfast without disturbing anyone." Of course, my new location in the house had been calculated to maximize my usefulness as a domestic worker, close to the kitchen to serve better, far from the main living areas, so as not to bother the true inhabitants of the house. "And when do I have to move?" I asked, though I already knew I had no real choice. "This weekend would be perfect," Lila replied cheerfully, as if we were planning a vacation. "Marcus can help you move the heavy things. Well, the few things you need to take. Most of the furniture in the master bedroom we're going to use ourselves. The furniture I had bought, the solid wood dresser, which had been my first purchase when I got my first job. The vanity with a mirror where I had gotten ready for my wedding. The marital bed where I had conceived Lila. All of that would now be theirs because it was more practical." Noah ran into the kitchen with his tablet in his hands and an urgent expression. "Grandma, my battery died, and I need the charger." "Where is it?" "In my room, honey." "Go get it," I said, automatically.
No, Lila intervened firmly.
"Noah, you can't go into your grandma's room without permission. She'll bring you the charger when she finishes preparing snack." The humiliation was complete. Now, not even my grandson could freely enter my room. But Lila and Marcus could decide when and how I should move, what furniture I could keep, and which room I was allowed to live in. "And one more thing, Mom," Lila continued, as if it were an endless list of new restrictions. "Sundays are our family day. Marcus and I want to spend quality time with the kids, so it would be better if you plan to go out on those days. You can go to the park, visit a friend, whatever you want. We just need space to be a family. Sunday's my family day, too." The day I had reserved for years to do special activities with my grandchildren, to cook together, to watch movies cuddled on the couch. Now it was the day I became an intruder in my own home. And where am I supposed to go every Sunday? I asked, feeling tears well up in my eyes.
I don't know, Mom.
You surely have friends. You can go for a walk, go to church. There are many things a person your age can do. The important thing is that you have your own activities, that you don't depend so much on us for entertainment. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling that would soon no longer be mine, thinking about how I had reached this point. At what moment had I stopped being the mother and become the servant? When had I lost the right to have an opinion in my own home? I remembered when Lila arrived with Marcus and the children. 2 years ago,